Thinking using technology. This is a collaboration with the Orange County Math Council and Orange County Q. We are so glad that you are here. Thank you so much for joining us. We know that you have had such a long day, and so thank you for choosing to be here this evening. If you are interested in the slide deck, there is the bit.ly. You also have the schedule here on this next QR code. On the next slide. So our schedule here is we have our fabulous keynote that we'll introduce in just a minute. And then you're going to have 3 separate crash courses. Each one is 30 minutes each. And then we'll come back for a closure and a raffle, which is really exciting. There are a lot of amazing things to raffle off. So we will get started by sharing some of our sponsors, so you can kind of get a sneak peek at what the raffle might look like.
So today we have quite a few sponsors who are supporting our event. We have EduProtocols, and we'll be raffling off 3 of their books. You already got one in the mail. Nearpod, everyone's going to get a free trial at the end of our time together today. We have Pathway Innovations, also known as eGlass and HoverCam, and they are giving away an eGlass. Kevin's going to be demonstrating that today in his session. We also have Wacom. They're going to give us a tablet, give away a tablet. And then we have Teach from the Heart with Stacy Rosham, and she's going to be giving away a couple of her books. We're also going to be giving away some registrations to upcoming conferences that Orange County Math Council and OCQ will be hosting this spring. So be sure you hang out to the end, complete our survey, and you'll be entered to win one of those amazing prizes. So it is my pleasure to introduce our keynote for this evening. Kim Voge and I've been friends for quite a few years. She previously served on the Q board. But most recently, she is the coordinator of professional development and teacher support for the Fontana Unified School District. She's the author of Deploying EduProtocols, 20+ Ways to Transform Your School or District. And she is the creator of a Facebook group called Empower Adventure. So if you really enjoy some of the ideas you hear today, be sure and check out her Facebook group. Last I checked, she was at about 6,500 members. And I'll tell you, it's a group of oversharers. If you're looking for ideas and inspiration, everything is positive. You can't go wrong. So even if you're not on Facebook, this might be the reason you might want to join. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to Kim.
Thank you so much. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. And I'm so thrilled that the freeway was okay, and I got in the door at 4:47. So let me get my screen rocking and rolling. And oops, hold on. My new district where I'm working is Microsoft, so I haven't Zoomed for a while. All right, are we good with that? Can I get it? Okay, thank you. Try to balance all my screens here. All right, let's get going with my talk tonight. My keynote is called How I Got My Teaching Groove Back. And so it is not math specific. This speaks to our teacher hearts. So I hope that with what I share with you tonight, just kind of helps you get that groove back. So here we go. And I will be happy to give you my slides at the end. So, oops, come on now. All right. There we go. We're going to actually move from that one. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Hold on. You can tell I haven't done this for a while. I wanted you to tell me your walk-up song, but we're going to move from that activity because we're I'm looking at our clock. So I'll give you a little bit about my backstory. So for the first 17 years of my teaching career, I was at 2 schools teaching away, mostly in upper grade, loving that. And then I went on into my life as a TOSA, teacher on special assignment, and I was tech and math and DBQs and other duties as assigned. And I absolutely loved what I did. And it was probably the best 8 years of my 29 that I've been in education. And then an event happened. And so what I'd like for you to do is share on this Padlet how you may have lost your groove or got stifled in your teaching career. And you can either scan it with your phone, you can type in that bit.ly, and I will type it in the chat for you. Oh, thanks, Angela. And go ahead and add to that Padlet about how you may have lost your groove or gotten stifled. And I'll give you a minute or two to do that, and then we'll go check it out. I like to have full audience participation here. And I'm going to click to get to that Padlet and see what's going on here. So we've got a lot of things that have gone on in our lives. That end up impacting our jobs. I'm seeing things like toxic school culture, burnout, lack of support, things happening at home, COVID in general. Administrators focusing only on numbers rather than relationships. Just bureaucracy to max pension, no one works. Having one of those classes, bringing home too much work. Trying too hard. The only thing that mattered was tenure. Spending too much time online. I know I have to digital detox myself every now and then with my art. So get a couple more people participating and then we will move it along. Not taking care of me, working way too many hours with no outcomes, no room for creativity. Being told you don't know what you're talking about all the time. Yes, I completely understand that. We are highly qualified educators and we don't get to be at the table to make the decisions. All right, so I'm going to pop back into the slide deck now. You can continue to add if you'd like, but I'm going to move us along. So I was shattered in spring of 2018. Right after coming off of Amazing Q, or no, 2019, coming off of Amazing Q, and got back in March to find out that my TOSA job was gone and it was cut from the budget. And the district didn't quite handle it very well as far as letting me know that. It was, if you could picture yourself being involved in a real game of Survivor, but when your torch was snuffed out, that meant you lost your job. That was it. So I was absolutely shattered. So I'm not here to talk about how I was shattered. I'm here to talk about that comeback and how I got my groove back from that shattering experience. So in fall of 2019, I started my year as a 5th grade teacher, armed with all of my edu protocols. And I know you have a lot of sessions tonight with edu protocols, and they absolutely saved my life. I earned my ISTE certification, so I kept that drive going. I ended up becoming the director of Q Bold. I started a virtual academy in my old district. And then in the past year, I have become an author, which I wouldn't have been able to do had I not been back in the classroom. And I have an administrative role in a new district. And so those things that shatter you, we're going to figure out how can we come back from that. And when I started thinking about how did I get back from all of those things, it really came down to like the nouns in my life, because I categorize these as the people, places, and things. So let's take a look at the people that are helped me get back on track, and hopefully you'll find people who can help you. So the biggest thing for me was my personal learning network, my PLN. During the pandemic, we had the Midnight Pedagogy Group. If you are into having a good time, look them up on Twitter. We still meet occasionally. Some of the members, the founding members of that group are in this group. The Q organization and being a part of OCQ absolutely helped me with building those relationships and keeping connected to like-minded peers. You can always find the grumpy teacher on campus, but don't associate yourself with them. Go find that newbie who needs you, who needs to feel excitement, because you'll get some of that from them. It came down to some really important people. For me, my mentors, these are the Bitmojis of John Carippo, Valerie Sun, and Steve McGriff. If you've not had the pleasure of meeting them or knowing them, make them part of your personal learning network. I'll share their Twitter handles. If you need them, just hit me up on my Twitter. You need your people, and find your 3 or 4 people that are your go-tos that you can call, because you need those people that you can vent to, and you need those people who are going to celebrate, because you don't want to go vent on social media, right? Because people are going to remember that. Don't be negative out there. Be negative with them. You can call me. You can send me a message. If you need to dump on somebody, call me. It's okay. No judgment. I'll listen, and I'll even swear with you if you want to, but keep that negative stuff off of social media and find the people. And then the real part that helped me stay connected was with my students and getting their feedback and their input. So on the next screen, I have a little 30-second video of one of my students during virtual teaching. And I'm not sure if it's going to start right away when I click the button. So we'll see what happens here. The kids. There we go.
What makes me feel valued in my classroom is that my teachers, Miss Voge, and the other teachers of my 6th grade class devote equal amounts of time to each and every one of their students. They try the best they can to make the Zoom classes feel more real instead of talking to a computer screen. They try to be the best influences they can by being kind, helpful, and the perfect amount of strict. And they take time to comment on each and every one of our pieces of work and make sure we are putting our full potential into our work.
All right, and I love it. Now, her perception was that I commented on everybody's work all the time, and there's no way we can do that. But perception is everything, right? If the kids feel that they are being heard and being seen, then that's what we need to do. I'll be honest, I didn't comment on everything because there's no way we could possibly do that. But I did comment a lot because we're in that virtual world, and I couldn't just walk by their desk and leave them a little message. So whatever world you're teaching in, kids notice. And if you're not sure that they notice, just give them a flip grid and ask them what they notice, and they will tell you. It took me a little bit, but getting into that classroom groove made my life so much fun. I really focused on building relationships through our routines and giving the students ownership. It was their classroom, not just mine. And I have a feeling that most educators are firstborn that could have been a bossy girl growing up. I don't know if any of you can relate to that. But we like to control our environment. And I had to give up some of that control to my students to find out what they really want and what really drove them. As far as the relationships going, I really spent my time making sure I met them at the door and greeted them with a smile. I might be the only smile that they see, especially on a Monday. If they didn't have any fun over the weekend, I might be their first smile in 3 days. So I want to make sure I greet them with a smile at the door. Whatever my personal issues are need to be kind of put to the side. We built classroom relationships through doing a morning meeting. And I couldn't and didn't feel right, like devoting a morning meeting every day. So we just did it once a week. And even that was enough to help build those relationships. And at first I thought, am I wasting time? But the gift that it gave me in those building those class relationships made the rest of the week go so quickly and so well, like they were a little well-oiled machine, that it was worth that time. And then putting any routines in place you can. If you don't know Edu protocols, they're the best routines you can put in place, because it's going to make a routine for your students and a routine for you in your planning. And then just providing some ownership so that your students truly feel like they own their learning. What I've shared a little bit with you about who inspired me as far as my personal learning network and my mentors and my students. I would like for you to take a minute, and you're going to pick up your phone and you're going to text during class. And I want you to text someone right now that inspires you. And I got this idea from Joe Sanfilippo. Go Crickets. If you don't know Joe, look him up on the Twitters. He's an amazing superintendent in Wisconsin. And I would like for you to take them a minute to text or email someone who inspires you, someone you need to thank, or someone who needs their day brightened. I'm going to play a little song and you can take care of that during our song. All righty. So I hope you got your text off. I'm finishing mine right now. And boom, send. Okay. So always taking time to send a thank you note. The lost art of the handwritten thank you note goes miles. If you are an admin, or if you're a mentor or work with other teachers, and sending that handwritten thank you note, people will like send you a thank you note for sending a thank you note when you do stuff like that. So I totally encourage you to get yourself some bulk stationery and some fun pens and write that handwritten thank you note. And we're going to move on. Oh no, stop. Okay. Oh. All right. Let me try that again. Thank you for your patience. All right. And now we're to places. So we've done our people and now we're at places. So realizing that not all classrooms have 4 walls, we really obviously learned that during the pandemic, but more importantly, we want to make sure that we're creating safe spaces in our classrooms where we have boundaries, but we're flexible in our thinking on what's going to meet that student's needs. And just getting their input. I did a class constitution. When you get the slide deck for me, I have my class constitution in there. And, you know, kids want rights. They want to have their water bottle. They want to be able to go to the bathroom when they want to, or they want to do this or that. But what's the responsibility that comes along with that? And so I think that that's important for kids to understand. And then learning from it can obviously happen from a distance, or that asynchronous time that we have with our students. Things can happen when they're at home. I'm not saying burying them in homework or anything, but we can take care of some of those thoughtful things, or flipping that classroom and making sure they know they can learn from a distance. Plus all the virtual opportunities we have now, especially with like the PORTS program. If you're a California educator, hopefully you know about the PORTS program. I know they worked with Q, and you can get virtual field trips now for all the California state parks, and there's a ton of stuff out there. So making good use of your resources that may not even be where you can get to them for real. And now we're going to move to things. So when I first was poised with going back to the classroom upon being removed from my TOSA position, right? I started really thinking about my classroom and would I want to sit through this? Would you want to be a student in your own classroom? Something really to consider when you think about some of the things. You know, none of us are perfect. In my first couple of years of teaching, I certainly wouldn't want to go relive those. How can I not use a worksheet? Sorry for the language, but it has to be said. There are too many low-level worksheets out there where kids are just putting in the easy answer. So let's move along from that. How can I not be grading on the weekend? I know you may put those, put your set of papers in your bag and you put your bag in the car and they ride around your weekend duties with whatever sports games you're at or whatever. How can we avoid grading on the weekend? And how can I reframe the idea of school? Okay, I don't want to just come and sit and do worksheets. Like I went to Catholic school. We did packets upon packets. I was the good little girl that went and picked up the dittos from the office and brought them back to the classroom. So yeah, we don't need that kind of learning. There's way better stuff we can do. So one thing that I wanted to do, I really love the national parks. And so when I thought about going back to the classroom, this is my ugly planning board of what I wanted to do to bring everything kind of together for my kids instead of teaching in silos. How can I make a national park project totally student-centered? And when I taught fifth grade in 1995, we wrote to the national parks like with a stamp and everything. And now everything's online. So how could I take what I know from the EDU protocols, what I know about literacy and the standards, and bring that all together with the cross-cutting concepts of science, et cetera, and make something that can be fully student-centered with a lot of student voice and choice. And so we did that with the National Park Project. Sadly, we went into lockdown like 2 weeks before open house, but my students even designed their own logos and put them on shirts. And my sister used her Cricut machine and put them on shirts for each kid. And I had a dress that had all of their logos on it. And I did go around to all their houses and deliver them. But anyway, like I put myself like, what would be a fun thing for kids and what would still take care of all the standards I needed to teach too. And it turned out wonderful. And we spent time, so the students had to consume. We got to have them consume a little, but then we've got to have them create, reflect, and iterate. We can't just get stuck in that consuming of information. And that's what many of us did, I think, in school. When you look back at what our lives were, we were consuming information, probably filling in some blanks and very little creating. So let's get kids creating and then making it even better. And that kind of gets in with that design thinking process. And some best practices that came to light for me throughout my years as a TOSA that I then put into my classroom was universal design for learning. If you're not familiar with that term, go check out your frameworks. We got our state frameworks after we got our standards, so it's a document that a lot of people are missing. But we need to find ways to provide access, engagement, and expression for our students. And that will help all of our learners by putting in those scaffolds. It's kind of like having the ramps there for everybody. If you plan for the margins, then you take care of everybody. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of our students with special needs, our English language learners, et cetera. The EDU protocols will absolutely help you get formative information that you can have real-time action for, giving your students that feedback in real time. So writing all these comments on an essay that you don't give them back for a week is not going to help them with their writing because they're not going to go read them. Did you read the comments on your paper when your teacher gave them back to you? Maybe if you were the straight A bossy girl firstborn that became a teacher, possibly, but the rest of you probably didn't. And then the repetition and the EDU protocols, we take off that cognitive load. So the kids already know how to do the task with then the harder material, and it becomes much, much easier. We can hit multiple standards multiple times across the content when we start planning and thinking this way with best practices. And I'm right. Oh, I'm good, Andrea. I'm so good. So just as a reminder, these three, the formative assessment, the feedback, and the repetition are key to our student understanding. We know that they're having trouble with executive functioning. We know they don't know how to do two-step processes because they were home for a couple years and, Mom, where's my bowl of cereal, Mom? You know, and so we have to retrain our kids with some executive functioning here. And so all of this led to me getting my teaching groove back, and I hope that it can help you too. Because we're a math focus, I do want to share this slide, and I believe that Kristen Morales, where she was in here, took this and gussied it up for me. So I have taken the Edu protocols that are in the math book and in the other Edu protocol books and aligned them to the 8 mathematical practices. So this work is already done for you. There's a link in my slide deck for you. So if you knew that you really wanted to hit all 8 mathematical practices, your Frere model, depending on the question you ask, is going to come up with that. I'm going to go for a lot of heavy hitting mathematical practices when I use something like learning in the round or 3-act math. So let's change up how we're doing this and really get some meaningful lessons for our kids. And so I would like one more piece of interaction with you. If you could add, we're going to kind of make this a thin slide. A thin slide is one picture and one word, but we're going to do it on a Padlet. What is one picture, one word about something that you're going to do next week based on what I've talked to you about in the past 20 minutes or so? What's a change you can make for your students to help you get your teaching groove back? I'll give you a second to scan that or type in the bit.ly, and then we'll see some great thin slides. We've got some practicing gratitude for life-giving moments of the day. That's awesome. When you start feeling that gratitude and recognizing it, you start doing it more yourself. I love it. Integrate, do an art lesson. I love it. Incorporating Edu protocols, some Freres, check in, check out. Oh, I love it. Such great ideas. Finding that joy. Sometimes it's hard. If you have a hard time finding joy, email me, message me on Twitter. I'll help you find your joy. Let them play. Giving students brain breaks. More creation, less consumption. Awesome. Finding that balance of creating and consuming is really important. All right, awesome. Oh, yay, I love it. Okay, cool. Well, I want to make sure that I keep us on time. And so I'm going to end with this quote that really, really helped me kind of get over that feeling of being shattered. So it says, and one day, just like that, you'll rediscover your light, you'll embrace your inner warrior, you'll snatch your power back, and the whole game will change. And I promise you, if you are feeling that way, that you need your groove back, that game will change. It may not happen today or tomorrow, but it's going to change. And so you've got all over 100 people right here, happy to help you, right? We got to lock arms, guys. This is what teaching's all about. So thank you so much for having me. And I'll make sure that Andrea gets the slide deck that she can link where you can get to it. All right. But I don't want to make you late for your sessions.
Thank you so much, Kim. Can we all turn on our cameras? You don't have to unmute or anything, but just turn off your cameras and let her see you clapping, because that was amazing. We really appreciate you inspiring us. Thank you so much for being here with us and kicking off this evening with us. We have lots of learning left today, but hopefully you are now going towards the new learning with an open mind and open heart, thanks to Kim's fabulous.
Thanks, guys.
Keynote.
You have a good one. I'm so happy and excited for you to get this training and get the books. So
Thank
yay,
you
enjoy.
so much. Yay. So for our crash courses, we have 3 crash courses. The first one starts at 5:35. You will be selecting your Zoom breakout. If you go into your Zoom meeting controls, you'll see that breakout room icon with the 4 squares. It's in the bottom and it'll say join a breakout room, should have just popped up. And you actually get to look at the rooms and you'll see room 1, room 2, room 3. When you go to the room you want, you'll select join and you'll click it a second time. But the important thing about this is that you want to be looking at the schedule, which we have put in the chat. And if you're looking at the schedule and you think, okay, I want to do using Desmos to facilitate mathematical discourse, you would click room 4. So whichever room you want to join, and then you'll do this again for our next session before the 6:10 session. So you'll choose your session now, and then when at 6:05 you'll choose your next session, and then at 6:40 you'll choose your last session. So choose the breakout room for crash course 1 right now. And if you're having trouble selecting, then you can take a moment and just sit back and we will help you make sure that we get you to the right place. But again, if you open up your breakout room icon, if you look at where it has, if you scroll down to where each of the rooms are, you just click that blue join button next to it. Sometimes it'll have a number there and you click that. All of the breakouts will be recorded so that you can check out others as well.
Almost.